Welcome in to this Wednesday edition, Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint, coming to you from the Lee Company studio. That is 100% correct. Happy to have you guys with us here. Hope you will stick around for the duration of today's show, at least as long as you can, as we get to be with you on 94.5 The Eagle for the first hour of the show. So stick around down there, and we'll be here for 2 hours on WKOM 101.7 FM. Again, folks, happy to have you with us, and big show today. But first, Mo, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Man, you know, it's been an okay day. It's been a busy day. Today was a really busy day, but it could be worse. I could be not busy, which sometimes is, that's not what you want. So I'd much rather be busy. So let's have a good show today. JP's frantically getting us ready and getting us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Actually, I got us on YouTube just now because I forgot to, JP. So don't feel bad. It wasn't just you.
We're up.
I just forgot that, we existed.
That
on
middle
video.
step, yep.
It is what it is.
It happens sometimes.
Oh, yes,
we
it does.
we were knee deep in content production.
And content. Yeah, still are.
Shh, Mo.
Exactly.
Multitasking over here.
This will be a progressive Wednesday show.
It will, in fact.
No doubt.
It will, in fact. And we are
Progressive.
excited to bring it to you because we have a ton to get to. We have college football in the next segment. We're going to go through many of the reported things that should, that we've heard, the rumors. And we'll tell you which of those rumors are most likely to happen or more likely to happen versus less likely to happen. That should be fun because these rumors most of them are plausible in some way, but
some are certainly more plausible than others.
that's kind of where we're getting at.
Yeah.
We'll also continue our high school football preview coverage. Today we will talk about the Loretto Mustangs. So should be fun if you're listening in South Lawrence County at the state line or watching. Appreciate that. Of course, we've got the Braves, and it's Wild and Wacky Wednesday. Wild and Wacky Wednesday, where we bring you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world in the final segment of the day. So we're going to get to it. We're going to get right into it because we need to get to our top stories. I have plenty of them, including this morning's post-19 affair down in Pelham in the Southeast Region Tournament.
Yeah, got down 3-0 early, got a couple of solo home runs from Skylar Trousdale and Slade Mosley, but couldn't get any closer and gave up a home run of their own, and then a 2-run bottom of the sixth kind of was their undoing in a 6-2 loss to Tallahassee Post 13. So tough morning for Post 19, and they will hope for a better result tomorrow morning in an elimination matchup against either Retief Oil out of New Orleans or Troy Post 70. That game is right about now, actually.
Yeah, that one's being played currently, and if you are subscribed to NFHS Network, you can watch it.
Yep.
But you have to search Pelham High School.
Yeah.
You search Pelham High School, you can get it. So you can actually watch it live if you are subscribed, like I said, to NFHS Network. Moving along, we got some coaching news. I think this is kind of big.
I would say. Columbia State announced earlier today that Keen Barclay will take over the women's soccer coaching position that was vacated earlier this summer when Colton Bryant and the athletic program opted to part ways, basically. Bryant had started that program from scratch. And Keen Barclay, who is a Spring Hill resident, is actually the director of the Clarksville Soccer Club. Try making that drive, Spring Hill to Clarksville, on a regular basis. I know at least one other person in town
about to say
that makes that drive. So maybe
they can hitch a ride together.
Maybe Mac Reagan can give Keen. Well, maybe he already knows. I don't know, but maybe those two can kind of swap some war stories on the best way to get from point A to point B. But now, Coach Barclay adds getting out to Hampshire Pike into the mix as the new women's soccer coach over there. So, previously an assistant at Northern Kentucky, had been a head coach at a junior college over close to St. Louis. Again, both of those.
He's been at the level of,
yeah,
that he's going to be recruiting. He's recruited at that level before.
The only thing was it was on the men's side, in all of his collegiate stops, because he was also at University of the Ozarks at one time. But all of his collegiate experience has been with men. So I don't know if there's any difference in terms of how you approach it or not, but it'll be different. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, good luck. Former Columbia State soccer coach Colton Bryant has found a home.
Coach Colton? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how we'll need to refer to him going forward. We should probably call him Coach Bryant.
Yes,
in the future.
Everyone on that campus should be referred to Coach
last name. Yeah, because Colton Bryant has joined the staff at Jackson State, and that's Jackson State in Mississippi
University.
Jackson State University, not Jackson State Community College. So Coach Bryant and Coach Sanders will be walking the same halls, I guess. So.
Yes, they will. Oh man!
Congrats to him.
Congrats to Colton. That's a great place for him, and he's going to be successful wherever he goes. I got a feeling.
Yeah. He's he showed you in the time that he spent at Columbia State. He's a great recruiter.
Yep. And
he also showed you he's a great coach. So he's not a one-trick pony, and like you said, he's going to be successful wherever he is. He's young, he's driven, and he eats it, he sleeps it, and that's what it takes. So,
especially at that level.
Looking forward to seeing what he does down there.
Some high school news: Jordan Davis, Columbia Central sophomore, and basketball standout, and soon-to-be football standout. And if for nothing else, he stands above, if not out, on the football field.
Well, he's 6'2" and he can jump.
Yeah. So Jordan Davis was invited to the CP3 Rising Stars National Camp later this month, and as has Columbia Academy sophomore Griffin Cooper.
Yeah, we talked about Griffin's invitation a couple of weeks ago. Just learned earlier this week of Jordan's, and those are a couple of fantastic sophomores. They both had great freshman seasons with their respective programs, and obviously looking forward to what they do with a year of summer development under their belts and that kind of thing. But it'll be interesting to see if Jordan gets to go. I hadn't heard whether or not Griffin is going. Obviously that weekend is also the weekend of Central's season opener against Marshall County. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Perhaps he'll just have to be there on Saturday and Sunday. That camp being held in Greensboro, North Carolina. Different Greensboro.
It's not Greensboro. Yeah, whatever.
Not Alabama.
No.
It's Greensboro, North Carolina, not Greenbow, Alabama.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit more going on in Greensboro than in Greenbow.
Probably.
Yeah. Jenai.
And finally, for you folks down in Franklin County, the Board of Education will hold a press conference at 1 o'clock tomorrow to talk about their new football assistant coach
Yeah,
and new AD.
yeah. News from Al Clark down at the Eagle, 94.5. Sent a text earlier today. They will be
Glad he's feeling better, or at least well enough.
to send texts. Yeah, yeah. They will be talking about the hiring of, as we talked earlier this week, Franklin County graduate Tracy Hayworth being named to the Rebels coaching staff, and also Kelly Kennedy, who we had on the show earlier, a few months back, following her hiring as softball coach after a previous stint at Grundy County, as was Hayworth. She will also be taking over the duties of the athletics director at Franklin County, as the legendary Don Roten will be stepping aside. I think the plan is for him to continue to stick around and kind of help out as needed while Coach Kennedy kind of
Gets her feet wet.
Yeah, gets a feel for what's going on in and around Manchester. So yeah. So that's taking place tomorrow at 1:00.
There you go. Those are your top stories of the day. We've got one more thing before we get out of this break, or out of this into a break, and that is to give you the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
As we said in baseball action earlier this morning, Tallahassee Post 13 defeated Post 19 6-2 in the opening round of the American Legion Southeast Region Tournament down at Pelham, Alabama. In Major League Baseball from action from last night, Minnesota defeated Cincinnati 7-5. It was the Pirates defeating the Brewers 8-5 and 10. The Rockies defeated the Cubs 13-6, and Atlanta, playing in St. Louis, picked up a 6-1 victory over the host Cardinals.
In Olympic action on the baseball diamond, it was Team USA 3, Dominican Republic 1, sending them to the semifinals. And the women's hoops action, that's not the right score. I have no idea how the women did last night. So there you go.
All right.
Today's schedule.
In baseball action tonight, the Braves and Cardinals play a nationally televised game on ESPN starting at 7 o'clock. That game will, I think it's actually a 7:15 start, because pregame will start at 6 o'clock on our sister station, 103.7 WKRM FM. Also, baseball tomorrow, 10 o'clock, Pelham, Post 19, elimination game against the loser of the current game going on between Retief Oil out of New Orleans and Troy Post 70.
Look, you know as well as I do that they just start the broadcast whenever they want to, and first pitch just happens after that at some point. So the broadcast will start at 7 o'clock. When first pitch is, I couldn't tell you.
Who knows? Whenever they decide. Yeah.
There you go. That is your Wednesday rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee.
No, not yet.
Oh, we got the Olympics.
Yeah.
We do have men's basketball tonight. Team USA in Australia at 11:15, and that's basketball. In baseball, Korea and the United States, they play at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So there you have it. That is your Wednesday rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports. When we come back, again, we're going to talk about those college football scenarios. What rumors may be true? What rumors are likely not true? We'll get to all that on the other side of the break. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. We'll be right back right after this.
Parks Motor Sales in Columbia has a large assortment of quality new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, a trusted sales staff, and financing plans that fit any budget. Visit Parks once and you'll quickly discover why people all over Middle Tennessee have been buying vehicles there for more than 60 years. And factory certified technicians can service and repair your vehicle as long as you own it. Go to parksmotorsales.com or stop by the lot at 919 Nashville Highway and take a test drive today.
Are you thinking about a new fence? Maybe you need a pole barn. Then you should give Sands Fence Company a call. That's 931-309-1644. Will Sands has built his business based on the principles of honesty, quality, and integrity. Sands Fence Company has been in business for over 20 years, providing the community with farm, residential, and commercial fencing, as well as pole barns and buildings. Call today for a free estimate. Sands Fence Company, 931-309-1644. 931-309-1644.
Hi, I'm Steve, the garbage man. Have you been hauling your own garbage to the convenience center? Are you tired of doing it? Does your work schedule keep you from hauling it off regularly? Is your teenage son not taking it off like he promised when he got his driver's license? Do you have something better to do on Saturday? If any of these questions strike home to you, call the garbage man at 931-540-0919 and your problem will be solved.
Do you know Tillis Jewelry creates custom one-of-a-kind pieces that are available in our store now?
Hello, this is Rick Tillis, and that's right. We are known for our custom designs. We create jewelry using old mine cut or European cut diamonds to rare colored gemstones. We create these custom pieces for each season. I'm sure you can find something for yourself or a loved one.
Stop by our showroom and try on a Tillis Jewelry custom piece today. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to view our designs and much more.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter, like the drywall that somehow isn't. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Call Davis Heating and Cooling at 931-388-2090. Davis Heating and Cooling is your local American Standard dealer and proudly serves the Maury County area. Find Davis Heating and Cooling online and on Facebook or call today, 388-2090.
For 40 years, Beck Dental Care has been the personalized and comfortable option for the health of your smile. The caring staff maintains a high level of safety protocols and attention to detail. Advanced technology provides your choice of sedation and the best of dental implant solutions to restore complete oral health. Open until 7 p.m. 2 nights a week. 931-388-8452. Beck Dental Care in Columbia, 1603 Rosewood Drive.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in. 25 minutes past the hour. Hour number one of our 2-hour show. Lots of hours in there.
Not confusing at all.
Not at all.
That's better, Mo, than the third hour sponsor, though.
That's right. Our third hour that we didn't know about.
I don't need any more scares like that.
Hour 3.
Whoa,
No.
I wasn't ready.
Right? He wasn't ready. Happy to have you guys along with us as we get ready to talk a little college football because, let's be honest, we're in the South. Specifically the Southeast, where football is king among all kings. And to be honest with you, this particular segment is basically because of the southeastern part of the United States love affair with college football. And, you know, as someone who comes from the Birmingham market in sports talk radio, that's literally all they talk about 365 days of the year. I mean, you may get a little Major League Baseball, NBA, very little NFL, and then it's college football for like 80% of the show. So try not to do that here. But you can't not do it. You can't not talk about college football because, let's be honest, the storylines right now that we have gone through in the last 3 weeks have been insane and fun to discuss. We've had a lot of fun discussing them on this show. Some of those rumors we will go through and talk about how likely are these to happen. This list was compiled by Brett McMurphy
Of stadium.
of Stadium, which is interesting in and of itself. Man, that was really tough to say. This one here is probably pretty likely, but I'll get your thoughts. Kansas heading to the Big Ten, imminent. I don't know if it's imminent, but Kansas going to the Big Ten is pretty likely to happen.
I think it's definitely it's a solid possibility. The fact that it hasn't necessarily seen a lot of light to this point, that nobody from the Houston Chronicle has broken it or anything like that. I don't think that means
Zorneman's not working on Kansas, huh?
Or maybe he is, and just it just took him 6 months to get there, like it did that. But no, I just the fact that it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I don't think.
I agree. Now let me ask you this: could the Big 12 try to stick it out until Texas and Oklahoma do leave? Because in the event they do, each team's getting $20 million. $20 million.
And I think that's the discussion. That's what has to be discussed.
Like you can do it
on those campuses. Can you? Because what's going to be going on during the interim? I mean, are other conferences going to be, reconstituting themselves? And, while you're trying to hang on for that $20 million, what are you missing out on?
That is the problem. You don't want to be left in the dust.
No.
You don't want to be left without a dance partner. So, how do you decide, guys, we're going to stick this out? Maybe the key is the Pac-12 merger or partnership that they're currently talking about, right?
Yeah.
With the Big 12.
Right.
Yeah, a 20-team super conference, so to speak, if you take the 12 currently in the Pac-12 and the 8 left in the Big 12.
But if you do it as a scheduling partnership rather than making it one conference, you can still reap the $20 million in exit fee money.
You roll it into one television package.
It's one of those must be present to win kind of deals. So yeah, you got to be there.
That's to say, if the Pac-12 presidents would allow that to happen.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
You would think at this point things have shifted. The whole academic argument that in the past Texas was too highly academic for the Southeastern Conference. They would have been more in line with the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has those perceived high academic institutions, and they are. And there are several actually in the Southeastern Conference, but it's just perceived as that football conference. So the question is, would the Pac-12 vote for that?
I think for the television revenue that you're talking about,
if you can make that, yes. I don't see how you couldn't at this point, right?
Yeah. So
because if you don't, what are you left with?
Right. Scale of 1 to 5, how likely is it that Kansas goes to the Big Ten within the next 2 years?
4.
I say at least a 4.
I tend to agree with you. I think it's going to be. I don't think the Big 12 is going to exist.
I mean, the only reason I'm not going 5 is on a scale of 1 to 5, I never go 1 or 5 on anything.
I just feel like it's probably more likely than not.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the only saving grace the Big 12 has is that if they stay together over the next 2 to 3 years, they will get the money owed to them from the exit fees of Texas and Oklahoma,
which is $20 million each.
Yeah.
Okay, so $20 million each. So that's $40 million.
No. $20 million each school. Each school would get $20 million.
Will get $20 million.
It's 80 per.
Okay, so it's 80 for Texas, 80 for Oklahoma.
160
so 160
total. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's 8 schools remaining in the Big 12.
Yep.
After 2 left.
Assuming the Big 12 stays.
It's not their strong suit, man. They might just.
That's
dish
what
out.
Bob Bowlesby said. They said there would be no math. Yeah. Other than dividing up these exit fees.
Well, I guess they could go back to the Big 8. It's not like it's not been there that before.
50 years
You just
ago.
have to move the two I's to the other side of the X. You're good. Just flip the Roman numerals. And
And add
not,
one.
That's not
Yeah.
how this works.
no, you wouldn't add. Take the 2 minus X is 8.
No. 8 is VIII.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, but
For the purposes
for
of
the
the
purpose
big 8.
of the big 8, you could just
You
flip
just
it and it
flip
would work.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just turn the whole
Just
logo upside
turn
down.
it upside down.
I thought that was a personal foul. Upside down logos in the Big 12. Sorry.
Not anymore.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. They're going to welcome that.
Somebody at SEC Media Day said if
Drinkwitz, right?
no, I
From
think
Missouri?
it was a player.
Oh.
No, Drinkwitz asked Sankey if it was going to be a personal foul. Some player said if they're getting bothered about upside down horns down, then they're going to have a tough time playing in the SEC.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
No doubt.
Number 2, West Virginia in talks with the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Okay,
going
so
to the ACC.
so you know when I said on a scale of 1 to 5, I rarely use 1 or 5. That's a 1.
You don't think West Virginia would go to the ACC?
I don't think the ACC would take West Virginia.
Okay.
I think you're probably accurate on that.
Why not?
The question
I
is,
think the ACC considers themselves to be more of an academic conference than they consider West Virginia to be as a school.
there's no question. That goes back to Texas and Oklahoma now. Texas,
Sure.
they've got a new president since the last time that they were considering this. Academics is not as heavy of a priority when it comes to perception as it once was. The question for ACC, they're going to have to consider that if they're going to expand.
Or if they are going to maintain, because there's another little something on this list. By the way, you have to stop contacting me in 8 different ways because I can't find
I know
that.
It's from SMT and
Okay.
yeah, Mo and I have 4 conversations going in 4 different
Forums.
Yep.
messaging apps.
Yeah.
I do that with Sarah because if she gets mad at me in one, I can go to the other one and continue a conversation where she's not mad at me. It's really
feelings don't transfer over.
So you
Yeah,
think.
Okay.
I'm just saying I can. Oh, she's angry about this. Let's go talk about this over here in another app, and she won't see this one, so we're good.
Gotcha.
It's genius.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I agree with you. I don't think West Virginia is going to the ACC unless, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that now because the Florida State and Clemson supposedly contacted the SEC about joining the league. Now, if that were to happen, then what? How likely is it Florida State and Clemson leave the ACC and give the SEC 18 teams? If it's 18, it's got to be 40, right?
Here's the thing. I think Clemson and Florida State could join the SEC. I don't think the SEC would operate with 18 teams.
That's what I'm saying. If it's going to be 18, it's going to be 40.
No. I mean,
Yes.
that could be, but I don't think it's going to be 18. I think
It's going to be
I
16.
think somebody leaves the SEC under that scenario.
I
Two
think,
somebodies.
I think that's possible. I think you could absolutely see that happen. But
And we've talked about this.
we have because I said Kentucky would be a fantastic fit in the
And I
ACC.
had never thought about that, but I think you're absolutely right.
So
And
How do you approach that though?
you ain't got to go home.
Although, look what they just did by keeping this secret about Texas and Oklahoma from everybody for 6 months.
Well, except Brent Zwerneman.
yeah.
who covers Texas A&M, by the way,
Yep.
for TexasAgs.com. So tell me, and now this is another option here because I've heard that the ACC and the SEC are considering just becoming the NFC/AFC. Their one conference just split in the way that it was, kind of.
The SEC splitting?
No, the SEC and the ACC.
And the ACC.
Being one
merging.
conference, but keeping some autonomy.
Gotcha. Kind of a league with 2 sub-leagues.
Like the NFL, where
Okay.
you have the NFC versus AFC and AFC. where you could potentially schedule one another, but it, I think that's less likely.
I think that's way less likely just because I don't see enough parallels between those two conferences. Again, we're talking about West Virginia not being academically minded enough for the ACC. I don't think academics is much of a consideration at all for the SEC.
No, but they'll take it. They'll take what they can get.
But I just don't know that. I don't know that Virginia and Wake and Duke and folks like that really mesh very well with Alabama and Auburn and Arkansas and whoever else.
Alabama has more Rhodes Scholars than Duke. Just saying. I'm just saying. Like, and that goes to a point that you made earlier.
Okay, well, hang on.
But yes.
But before you continue on that tangent, is that raw more Rhodes Scholars, or
Yes,
is that per capita
in history?
Okay.
So that's
and how many applicants have they had? Because I mean, what's Duke's enrollment? 9,000.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, and you're right. But I do think that football success, athletic success, breeds academic success because you get a higher enrollment. Alabama's enrollment has almost doubled since Nick Saban took over. Actually, it has doubled. So, obviously, you're going to get better
Smarter
students
kids.
if you have, because you can up those academic standards.
Absolutely.
When you have this many people coming in. So,
but again, what is Alabama's enrollment?
I couldn't tell you.
I would dare say Duke's is a third of it.
Oh, no doubt.
So
don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's still, you have to understand that athletic success breeds academic success, and therefore the SEC would likely, and the ACC would, inhibit higher academic standards.
Here's the thing: the SEC would do it if they could get more money with their TV contract.
Period.
That's the only reason they got Texas, Oklahoma.
And they could, because their basketball contract would go through the roof.
I mean,
I guess the question would be, would the ACC do it?
If they can get more money, absolutely.
And the ACC is,
and they would,
operating at about a third of the budget of the SEC TV wise.
Listen, if you're any team not in the SEC, you're hoping that they come calling to you.
100%.
I mean, because that pie is about to just be, be so large that they can have so many people join the bandwagon, and the SEC can cherry pick who they want at this point. I firmly believe that.
How long has the Oklahoma-Texas thing been in the works? Did Greg Sankey go into the ESPN meeting when they dropped CBS and say, hey, open the pocketbook because I promise you it's going to be worth your time.
Yeah.
I think that could be and if not, boy, that sucks for Greg Sankey because he signed a contract that he could have got, double because of Texas, and Oklahoma. So, yeah, the pie is huge. And that's what you're looking for. So, anyway, I think you're right. It's either 8, if it's not 16, it's going to be 40. And it's going to be everybody from USC to Duke to Michigan to Miami. Everybody. It's got to be one or the other. Louisiana Tech and Lafayette, or UL Louisiana.
Yeah, the University of Louisiana. Don't call them Lafayette.
But if you don't, nobody that knows anything about college football knows who you're talking about, right? But yes,
they get really red about it.
Well, they let them.
Yeah, I'm just telling you.
La Tech.
They are the Rage Occasions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let them. Maybe they'll come up here and cook us some gumbo. Louisiana Tech and Louisiana to the Big 12 to give them 10 teams.
That's another one.
That's not happening. Zero chance that happens. Period. Zero.
There's more chance.
Not isolated.
There's more chance of Louisiana Tech and Louisiana Lafayette joining this next
SEC
configuration you're
Oh.
getting ready to discuss.
Just the AAC.
Because I
Yes.
finally found it.
Yeah, and you're right, because the teams that make the most sense for the Big 12 are not teams you would think, but Cincinnati or Louisville giving West Virginia some help over there, and somebody like Memphis or
Memphis, Houston, Tulsa,
Houston, yeah, Tulsa,
Southern Miss.
bottom of the list, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
They're at the same. They're in the same level as La Tech in Louisiana, I think. No, I don't think anybody's
but
going
I
from
think
the CUSA.
No, but
to
I do think Houston, Memphis, Tulane, maybe being in New Orleans,
maybe
pretty good sized market there.
I don't think the market matters. I think it's eyeballs.
At
It's
this-
eyeballs for streaming purposes. I mean, how many people can you get to watch?
and that's why you need Louisville/Cincinnati.
So you need Louisville to leave the ACC, then, is what you're saying.
I think you'd have to. I think that would, or like I said, Cincinnati would be just fine.
You could get Cincinnati, and that pairs you
Cincinnati's
with
in
West
the
Virginia.
AAC,
Right,
so that's a
what I'm
lot
sa- that's what I'm
easier
saying.
Yeah.
pool.
You can get them to come over, no problem. Hey, come be in the Big 12, give West Virginia some help, and then go to Memphis or Houston.
And Louisville's not going to leave the.
So have we
Atlantic
decided?
Coast.
Have we decided that the Big 12 is doing the pulling and not the AAC? I know the autonomy thing.
I think the autonomy thing makes it too risky for the AAC. Now, the AAC commissioner has come out and said, we didn't conspire with the Big 12, so y'all quit talking about that. Or we didn't conspire with ESPN. to kill the
right.
Big 12, so which means they probably conspired with ESPN to kill the Big 12. But I don't think that that's a possibility. I think the Big 12 is going to end up either going west or pulling some AAC teams away. That's what I think is the most likely scenario. And that being the final piece to this, the AAC will raid the Big 12. I think that's a 1-2.
I think it's a 2.
I guess it's possible because I don't think that the Pac-12 would necessarily take all 8 teams. I think TCU would end up kind of in a bad spot.
Texas Tech.
I think Texas Tech could end up in a bad spot.
Baylor is not a
Yeah.
huge draw, despite
And-
their basketball
and you know how
of recent.
And you know how
Right.
bad the West Coasters probably hate the idea that a Baptist school would be. So Baylor and Tech and TCU probably the least likely of the 8 to go west. So
Oklahoma State fits.
Oklahoma State fits.
Um,
I think Tech fits more than the other two, but
Yeah.
Kansas State, Iowa State, I could see it. I mean, it would be a scheduling partnership so that the Big 8 could continue there to get their money, to continue their autonomy, etc.
wonder how that would affect the Rose Bowl.
That would be fun. Could you see? Yeah, we've got Oklahoma State and Nebraska playing in the Rose Bowl this year.
Which, the Rose Bowl, there were talks about the Big Ten and the Pac-12 joining together for really no other reason than to
Keep the Rose
Bowl tied.
I'd heard that. Yeah, I think
That's how important the Rose Bowl is to those two conferences.
they're idiots. They're if that's the most important thing to you, which granted, okay, let's just say this. If for nothing else, those two wanting to preserve the Rose Bowl is probably the most college football thing that's happening right now. Because the pageantry, the tradition and that sort of thing that we love about college football, they're trying to preserve that. The SEC is trying to create NFL light. And while I love the football that we're going to get, the pageantry is probably going to suffer in some ways.
I tell you what I love is the non-football that we're going to get.
I'm pumped about
Think about that Oklahoma Vanderbilt baseball series for just a second.
Well, Oklahoma hasn't been great in baseball.
Well,
Texas
okay, Texas
has.
Vanderbilt. I mean-
Texas
Texas has been better recently than Oklahoma, but I mean they've both had their moments.
Yes, no, but Texas was in the World Series this year.
Yeah.
You know, and Texas, Oklahoma, or Texas, Vanderbilt, Texas, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Texas in basketball, which includes Rick Barnes.
The Rick Barnes Bowl, yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be an absolute full year
Again,
of
as we
excitement.
talked, Alabama, Oklahoma softball.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you. It's going to be fun. Texas, who was also in the College World Series the last 2 years, it's going to be amazing. All right, we've got to go ahead.
I was going to say, might I suggest a format shift? Move Loretto football to segment 5 and continue this conversation.
Because
you've got some other news?
We've got a soundbite.
We do.
Do that on the other side, continue the college conversation.
Listen, we're going to keep talking college football. Do not go anywhere. Trust me on this.
If you leave, you'll wish you had.
You will wish your friends will be like, "Did you hear what was said?" on
No,
Southern Middle?
we changed. We left. Yep.
Don't do that.
Don't be that guy.
Other side of the break, more college football coming up. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. To the Lee Company Studio, we come back right after this.
One-stop shopping. That's why so many people shop Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat of Columbia. As the #1 volume CDJR dealer in Tennessee, we offer the largest selection of new Ram, Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler vehicles. And when you have the largest selection of new, you have the largest selection of used, too. Combine that with state-of-the-art fast, accurate service, and you've got Tennessee's #1 volume dealer. Shop online at Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Columbia.net. Middle Tennessee's Ram Truck and Jeep headquarters. You can count on us. Based on combined retail and fleet sales as reported by Chrysler in the state of Tennessee in 2019.
Hello, I'm Barbara Lincoln with Hollins Pharmacy. You may have heard our previous commercials about compression hosiery that we carry at Hollins Pharmacy. Well, we've recently expanded into a full line of knee braces, back, wrist, ankle, and other support wear. We will gladly help you get just the right fit for these items and, of course, special order items to ensure the proper fit. Come see us at Hollins Pharmacy, 1608 Hatcher Lane, or call us at 931-388-4233. 388-4233.
If you come to Arby's from 2 to 5 p.m., you can get sliders for $1. For another $1, you can get a small drink or fries or a snack shake. And for the low price of another $1, you can round out this afternoon snack with warm cookies. It's really a meal at this point, but call it a snack. That way, you can come back for dinner. Arby's, we have the meat.
Dollar price valid for small fries and drinks, snack shakes, and classic sliders. Available at participating locations for a limited time.
Nice Traeger grill. Thanks, man. Hiller gave it to us for free when I bought my new HVAC unit. We also upgraded to a tankless water heater and got this free Yeti cooler. What a deal.
This month, when you buy select new HVAC systems from Hiller, we'll give you a free Traeger grill. And you'll get a free Yeti cooler when you buy a new tankless water heater. Enjoy great upgrades for your home and some free backyard upgrades for your family. Visit happyhiller.com today.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Serving Murray County for 40 years, the Jewelers Bench has provided the highest quality jewelry at the very best prices. They work hard to make their customers happy, and it's paid off. Their customers keep going back. Quality jewelry, custom vintage and estate pieces, and professional jewelry and watch repairs. We offer jewelry loans up to $4,500, and we will buy your gold. The Jewelers Bench, still here, still the same. 808 Trotwood Avenue, Columbia.
Terrence here at Shepherd Lumberyard, where we value you, the customer. We've been serving Columbia and surrounding areas since 1946. We're located in our new location at 103 Cemetery Avenue. Anything that has to do with building or remodeling, we're here to assist. When you shop local, you help shape the community. We are locally owned, family owned, and veteran owned. And by the way, God is in charge. You can reach us at 931-388-3612, and our website is shepherdlumberyard@yahoo.com.
The sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company Studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. 8 minutes to the top of the hour. We killed that last segment all the way up to way past our break. So we'll get to more college football here, and we'll push Loretto football's preview to segment 5. First, however, we got to tell you about our friends at Columbia Academy.
This segment's brought to you by Columbia Academy. They're scheduling appointments for visits. You can find them online at cabulldogs.org. They have campuses in Columbia and in Spring Hill, so be sure and check them out. Again, that's cabulldogs.org, Columbia Academy.
We told you on the other side of the break not to leave. A couple of weeks ago, I read the Oklahoma State president's letter that basically she said, hey, I thought we were cool. We weren't. What happened? And that's kind of what has been a lot of folks have seen gentlemen's agreements dissipate over large amounts of money.
Folks weren't gentlemen after all.
They weren't, and that happens. Now, there's probably going to be some lawsuits involved.
Of course.
I don't think Texas A&M or anybody else or Oklahoma State is going to win said lawsuits, but it's still going to be argued in state legislatures. And recently in Texas, it was argued in the state legislature. And to be honest with you, this may be the greatest line ever uttered inside a state house, even in Texas.
And here's the thing. You got to be careful laughing at the punchline.
Because there's a better punchline
behind it.
Right behind it. But Senator Lois Kolkhorst was talking to Texas President Jay Hartzell. This is what she had to ask Mr. Hartzell.
What's your athletic budget?
It's over $200 million. It's probably 220, 225 in that range.
Where does that put you in the U.S.?
Depending on how you count, probably first.
That's without a winning football team of late.
It's in spite of our football team. We've been winning, just not like we like to win.
3-7 against the Horned Frogs. So maybe your fan base would rather lose to Alabama than TCU. So
maybe your fan base would rather lose to Alabama than TCU. Well, yeah.
Hey, she deserves a round of applause.
Let's give her a hand.
Lois was carrying a double-barreled shotgun.
Man.
And she fired both shells.
Yeah, no doubt. But the fact is, yes, that's right. The fact of the matter is, I'd rather lose to Alabama
than TCU.
Than TCU, yes.
Well, I mean, it does carry a little bit more weight, I would say. I mean, you can say you lost to the...
Or less weight, depending on how you look at it. But yes.
You can say you lost to the eventual national champions. Or
you don't have to say that you lost to TCU. That's the key.
And there's more money.
A school that a number of people in Texas feel like Texas should never lose to under any circumstance,
and yet,
regardless of where either program is.
And yet 3-7
against the Horned Frogs. Lois, we salute you.
Wow.
This debate is going to go on in Texas for a while. It's not going to matter. Texas is still going to leave. They're going to pay their $80 million because, again, they have the biggest brand in college football. Bigger than anybody else. Bigger than Alabama. Bigger tthan Michigan. Bigger than USC. Bigger than anybody else.
Well,
Number one.
Who else can you turn their logo upside down? I mean,
that's true. And who else can bring you Matthew McConaughey? That's
all right. Yeah.
That's the real key here, because I'm sure he's
coming soon to a stadium near you, right?
And coming soon to the Grove with some wild turkey, I assume.
There you go.
Or Long Branch.
Well, it's a Wild Turkey product, but yes. Matthew McConaughey, the only person on earth whose signature dons a Wild Turkey bottle other than Jimmy or Eddie Russell. So, yeah, I gotta think he's pretty excited.
I think so.
I mean, after watching him at that LSU game,
I bet he and Lane Kiffin would have a good time down in on the square in Oxford.
Oh dear, I couldn't imagine. Literally, could not imagine.
I can't imagine the parade behind them.
When do they start playing? 2022 or 2023? I know we've already discussed this. But when do they start playing?
So we're heading into the 21 season.
That's right.
22. Probably 23.
I think 23. It's going to be difficult to make this happen by next year.
Pods or divisions?
That's the real kicker.
I think divisions.
I do too.
I think they will do divisions too. I would prefer to see the pods.
Why?
Personally, just something different.
I think the divisions are what you're going to end up seeing because 4 pods makes it real difficult to get a champion. To get 2 teams into a championship game with 4 pods. So
you have to get a little more crafty with your rules.
Exactly. Your tiebreakers and your scheduling gets really crazy. Just do the divisions and be done with it.
With the 2 divisions, then you have to go 9 games, right?
Oh, yeah.
9 league games?
Oh, yeah.
They have to go. So, all right. That's going to do it for hour number 1. Sayonara to you in Franklin County on WZYX 94.5 The Eagle. Thank you for listening. If you want to hear the second hour of the show, you can listen to the podcast after the show. We will get it up, and you can listen from sm-tnsports.com, or you can go there now and watch the second hour on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter at SM_TN We will return and talk Braves baseball on the top of the hour. Again, this is Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be right back to the Lee Company studio right after this.
This is Coach Mike, and you're listening to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, the best in high school sports coverage in Southern Middle Tennessee on WKOM 101.7.
More trouble for the New York governor, Lisa Brady, Fox News. Several prosecutors taking a deeper dive after independent investigators concluded Governor Andrew Cuomo broke state and federal laws by sexually harassing at least 11 women.
The district attorneys now for Albany, Westchester, Nassau, and Manhattan have now formally requested all the evidence gathered by the Attorney General's office to be turned over for criminal investigations. And as we know, there is an ongoing impeachment probe of Cuomo in the state assembly. They are convening on Monday. There is mounting pressure for impeachment articles to be drafted now.
Fox's Brian Yennis. Cuomo has denied the allegations and rejects calls to resign, including from the White House, which is urging him to, quote, do the right thing. Today, the head of New York's Democratic Party added his voice to the chorus, saying the governor has lost his ability to govern, both practically and morally, and urging him to spare the state a protracted removal process. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis digging in after White House criticism of his efforts to block COVID-related mandates.
If you're trying to restrict people, impose mandates, if you're trying to ruin their jobs and their livelihoods and their small business, if you are trying to lock people down, I am standing in your way, and I'm standing for the people of Florida.
Florida is in the midst of a record surge in COVID hospitalizations. DeSantis is criticizing the Biden administration over COVID concerns at the southern border as a migrant surge continues. Mexico is suing U.S. gun manufacturers, including Smith & Wesson, Beretta, and Colt, accusing them of allowing guns to be trafficked into Mexico by marketing and distributing them in a way they know will arm drug cartels and lead to bloodshed. A federal law generally protects firearm makers from liability, but several other lawsuits have been allowed to move forward, and this new lawsuit points to those. America is listening to Fox News.
When hiring gets hard, you need Indeed, the job site that makes hiring incredibly simple. Just attract, interview, and hire. With Indeed, you can do all of your hiring in one place, even interviewing. Don't just hope your perfect candidate will find you. Indeed's hiring tools help you cut through the noise to hire faster and smarter. Indeed Instant Match provides a list of quality candidates whose resumes are on Indeed the moment you post a sponsored job. Get started right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/Fox. Indeed.com/Fox. Offer valid through September 30th. Terms and conditions apply.
A New Jersey man plans to plead guilty for his role in the Capitol riot.
An attorney for Scott Fairlamb says the guilty plea will be entered during a hearing in Washington, D.C. Friday. Fairlamb faces a 12-count indictment for his actions at the Capitol. His lawyer says he intends to admit to charges of obstructing an official proceeding and assaulting an officer. Evidence contains a picture of a man identified as Fairlamb punching a police officer in the head. Prosecutors want a sentence of more than 4 years for Fairlamb. The defense will seek less since their client has been in jail in Washington and New Jersey since his January arrest.
Fox's Gernal Scott, a Michigan man who called January 6th the best day ever, is being released from jail after pleading guilty to a misdemeanor count in the riot. A federal judge telling Carl Dresch he was an enthusiastic participant in an effort to subvert the will of the voters. But he's being released because he's already served the maximum sentence for the misdemeanor offense. 2 other defendants also avoiding jail time today, sentenced to home confinement. YouTube is launching its plan to challenge TikTok by spending money.
YouTube will start paying creators up to $10,000 a month for engaging content on its short-form video platform, Shorts. It's unclear exactly how many views a video must have to earn funds. Reps say it may change each month and depends on several factors, including audience location. But the content must be original. Creators in the U.S. must be at least 13 years old, and those under the age of 18 will need a parent or guardian's approval to participate. It's all part of YouTube's $100 million Shorts Fund, which launches this month to compete with TikTok. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
COVID and labor concerns rattling Wall Street. The Dow dropped 323. Oil prices tumbling to under $68 a barrel. Elisa Brady, Fox News.
School's out for summer! But if your business is running QuickBooks, you'll never get a break. Their manual processes, integration difficulties, and glitchy delays will leave you scrambling for the numbers you need. Failing to graduate to NetSuite will leave you stuck in summer school while your friends party. NetSuite by Oracle is the #1 cloud financial system. No matter how big your business grows, with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more, NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. Automate your processes with NetSuite and close your books in no time. 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since graduating to NetSuite. Special financing is back. NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program to those ready to graduate.
Head to netsuite.com/Fox right now. netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
When the Braves play, Chris and Mo are talking about it.
Yeah, that's trash can juice.
Speak for yourself.
For better or worse, on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Back to the Lee Company studio. Yep, they're fans too. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in hour number 2 of this Wednesday edition of Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We are in the Lee Company studio, and we are now on the downward slide. We have hit the top of the hump.
It's Wednesday evening.
It is Wednesday evening. And we are pumped to be on WKOM 101.7 FM and looking out the West 7th cam to see
the AT&T truck.
The AT&T truck. So before we get into this, I want to talk about some trash can juice. And it has nothing to do with sports. Outside of AT&T's, failure to be here on time, the comments section, JP, never read the comments.
No, I don't. Yeah.
So I'm reading the comments on
Can't do it.
On a Facebook post about the city of Columbia pouring a mile or so of sidewalk on East 8th Street, which is on the other side. This is West 8th, so East 8th would be on the other side of the square.
East 8th, okay, on the other side of the square and a block down.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So the comments are as you'd expect. Well, you're out here bragging about doing this when you ain't got West 7th finished. You need to stop worrying about AT&T and, by God, just get it done. Well, that's not how it works. It's not like Chaz Mulder comes out here with his concrete truck. Anyway, don't be that guy. If you don't know how city government works, just pretend like you have nothing to say.
Sounds like you've got a nominee for this week's This Guy.
This guy.
And it was about 4 of them. It
yeah.
wasn't just one. It's multiple because people who don't understand how city government works and how contracts and that sort of thing work, they just think that, every project has to go in sequential order.
But you say that like you expect people that don't know how things work to realize
to try.
They don't know how things work.
And none of them have ever tried. They've never been to a council meeting. They don't understand. And that's fine. And as a news writer, someone who has that background, it's really difficult for me because I've been in council meetings since my granddad was a city councilman when I was in high school. I get how city government works, and that's one reason it frustrates me. So to those of you out there, yes, this is a boondoggle. This is a problem. West 7th is awful. But let's not stop any improvement just because this one isn't done. That's all I'm saying. There's so many things we can do that make the city better. Just because this one's not done doesn't mean we shouldn't do those. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
But you
don't read the comments.
You shouldn't read comments.
I don't.
I
try
I've
my
not
best.
read comments. I got into a bad personal situation on Coach T.
On message boards?
My son's senior year, and I don't read message boards. I don't read comments. I don't mess with any of it. I don't read the comments on my own articles.
Those are some dark rabbit holes.
In 2017, my New Year's resolution was to not read the comments.
Oh, and you've obviously broken it 4 years later.
Well, I mean, I meant on stories that I write because typically, sometimes there are great comments on there people who ask a question. I'll be like, man, I need to do that in the future. I need to answer that question somehow, but it's not worth the bad comments.
No, the 30 bad comments to get to that one.
That's right.
That really is meaningful in some way, shape, or form.
And for people out there that may want to ask those questions, your email addresses are there. There's a way to contact you
if you have
without the comments.
If you have a legitimate and a question or something that can add to the story, my email will always be there.
Yeah.
So anyway, as we talk about news writing, but our email on sports is there too. If you have any questions or if you have any information you would like to share with us.
In fact, somebody reached out to me last week about an issue that I had taken up on Twitter and actually sent me an email, a detailed email that I need to respond to. So if you're listening, I've not forgotten you. I've just not addressed
And you know who you are.
Seriously, they do. Yeah.
I did. And speaking of reaching out, if you reach out to us and we will do our best to acknowledge what you've said. And I want to acknowledge Brantley Whitwell's granddad sent us some information on Twitter about their team awards, and I just wanted to give him a shout out for doing that, because we obviously team awards are not something we would typically talk about on the show.
But if somebody sends them to us,
but if you send them to us, we'll be happy to to talk about it. And so shout out to Gold Glover and Silver Slugger, Brantley Whitwell, including he was co-MVP, first team all district, team captain, along with Dawson Hargrove, who was first team all district and won the ACE award.
Oh, that's right. Spring Hill had their baseball banquet over the weekend. Yeah.
And then he was also co-MVP. Jackson Marbett was all district second team, I think. And the team captain, Chase Bland, was most improved. Chance Bland was most improved. Luca Boylan, the honors award, and Brent Miser. Quint Miser, not Brent. Quint Miser was all district.
Yeah,
So
that's a cue.
it's actually just says Miser. I was trying to remember it in my head. And for some reason it went to Brent, and I guess that was because I was on Brett McMurphy and not not Quit McMurphy. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. So if you send us stuff, we will be, and if you invite us to games, sometimes we'll show up, and if you're not there, we're going to give you crap about it. Kim? How are you going to invite us to a game, JP, and then you and your kid don't show up to the game to play?
That's a hard one to swallow.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, that what you're looking for? There we
go. I'm just kidding, Kim Woodside. We appreciate you reaching out. All right. Now that we've blown this segment completely,
their transition.
We're good.
Let's I'll tell you what, let's do Loretto football now. Because Braves, we're not going to have enough time to get to all the things we need to get to about the Braves. So let's talk about Loretto football a little bit, because Caden Porter, I talked to him. When did I talk to him?
Last Thursday night.
Going to be a big part of this Loretto football team. And I think it's important to note that this Loretto team is moving up to 2A. They're going to have a pretty big hill to climb. The good thing for them is this district is really wide open. This region is not cut and dry. They beat Summertown last year, beat Mount Pleasant No, did they beat Mount Pleasant last year?
No, they did not beat Mount Pleasant last year.
That's right.
That was the one game that Mount Pleasant won last year.
So, I mean, but that's not to say that it's a 27-20 ball game. This is a team that can certainly play for a playoff spot.
Yeah, and, last year was Barry Daniels' first year as head coach down there, and so I think that, him and his staff having a year to work with these guys, I think they've got a lot of young guys coming back.
Not having had much preparation last year in his first year.
Being a first-year coach last year, that had to be nightmarish.
Can you imagine?
Having a full off season, spring practice and summer drills and 7-on-7 and conditioning and lifting and everything that you typically do as a football program that they weren't able to do in Barry Daniels' first season has got to make everybody feel a lot better. And like I said, they've got a lot of guys that played a lot last year as young guys, like sophomores and juniors last year, that are now juniors and seniors and are going to be, a year better, you would think. And again, as you said, in this region, Region 5 2A, besides Forest, I don't know that anybody is heads and shoulders ahead of anybody else. So wide open is a great descriptive for this league.
No question there. They do get, as I was talking about, Caden Porter, he will play running back and probably some defense for them. Scored 9 touchdowns last year, 3 different ways. 3 rushing, 3 receiving, 3 returns.
Versatile
and dynamic. Yeah. I mean, returns are the most exciting plays in football. So, I mean, that right there just shows you that he has the ability to find a hole, and when he does, it's off to the races.
So mobile, agile, hostile, and versatile.
There's 4 now.
Yeah. Talking to Coach Daniel over the offseason, I think the offensive line was a big plus for him. I think it was kind of a source of comfort, again, from having had the offseason of getting in the weight room and conditioning and that kind of thing. And with guys like Caden Porter, with guys like Carter Daniel, your skill guys are only as good as those guys in front of you. So I think they're encouraged by that.
Yeah, they got 6'4", 265 Jesse Brown, Grant Tidwell, who's 6'2", 280. Got a couple of smaller kids on there as well. But when you run certain offenses, you can have smaller kids up front, and that's okay, especially at those guard positions. You need your tackles to be a little bit bigger and maybe your center, but other than that, you can have some guys who are mobile.
And hostile.
Ideally, yeah. You would like for them to be just that. So, yeah, I mean, this is a team that's got some capable of making some noise in this region. Last year, fell to Waverly in the first round of the playoffs, 43-7, but only lost to Forest 18-7. I think other teams from the only other team they played was Mount Pleasant, which they lost to 27-20.
Yeah, and
they beat Summertown 12-7. So they played 3 of their region opponents last year
in non-region games.
Little continuity.
Yeah. So they opened this year at Collinwood in week 1, and then
who I saw last night,
and then they've got as big a non-region game as they can have as they host Lawrence County on August 27th.
I really want to go down there for that game just because that picture that they post. Because the water tower that you can see from the football field, come on. That's small town high school football nostalgia. That is straight out of Varsity Blues.
I really need to get down there for a football game because the last time I was there for a football game, it was a playoff game between Loretto and Brentwood Academy.
Wow.
Trust me, things did not go the home team's way.
I bet they didn't.
So,
and I bet they weren't sad to see them go.
David Daniel, the principal at Loretto at the time, caught me coming off the field, so that's the best team money can buy.
And he probably wasn't wrong.
He wasn't far from wrong, yeah. Loretto goes to Forest to open region play over Labor Day weekend. Then they come back home for back-to-back games against Wayne County and Mount Pleasant, the latter being a region game. 3 straight on the road at Lewis County, at Summertown in region play. That's for the Pegasus Cup. And that one's actually on a Thursday night, September 30th.
Week.
Yeah, there we go. At Moore County. And then they finish up with region games at home against Cascade and Richland. So, the back half of that schedule is really this schedule is really manageable.
Outside of Lewis County.
Yeah, well,
and maybe Forest.
Yeah. I mean, this is a schedule that is set up for the Mustangs to really do some damage again in a region that's wide open.
It is a wide open region, so I will be interested to see how it works out and to see Barry Daniel in year number 2 with a full off season under his belt and some, like you said, some young kids who have grown up. So he's been able to nurture those kids from into his system while they had malleable minds.
Sure, there you go.
So
moldable.
They were moldable, and I think that's a big deal. So I think Loretto could certainly play a big role in where and how this region shakes out.
They'll certainly have a say in how things go.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for this segment. We will talk Atlanta Braves baseball in the next segment as they continue their series against the Cardinals tonight, looking to get back to 500. Can they do it? We shall see. We'll talk about it on the other side of the break. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around right after this.
Parks Motor Sales in Columbia has a large assortment of quality new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, a trusted sales staff, and financing plans that fit any budget. Visit Parks once and you'll quickly discover why people all over Middle Tennessee have been buying vehicles there for more than 60 years. And factory-certified technicians can service and repair your vehicle as long as you own it. Go to parksmotorsales.com or stop by the lot at 919 Nashville Highway and take a test drive today.
Are you thinking about a new fence? Maybe you need a pole barn. Then you should give Sands Fence Company a call. That's 931-309-1644. Will Sands has built his business based on the principles of honesty, quality, and integrity. Sands Fence Company has been in business for over 20 years, providing the community with farm, residential, and commercial fencing, as well as pole barns and buildings. Call today for a free estimate. Sands Fence Company, 931-309-1644. 931-309-1644.
Hi, I'm Steve, the garbage man. Have you been hauling your own garbage to the convenience center? Are you tired of doing it? Does your work schedule keep you from hauling it off regularly? Is your teenage son not taking it off like he promised when he got his driver's license? Do you have something better to do on Saturday? If any of these questions strike home to you, call the garbage man at 931-540-0919 and your problem will be solved.
Do you know Tillis Jewelry creates custom one-of-a-kind pieces that are available in our store now?
Hello, this is Rick Tillis, and that's right. We are known for our custom designs. We create jewelry using old mine cut or European cut diamonds to rare colored gemstones. We create these custom pieces for each season. I'm sure you can find something for yourself or a loved one.
Stop by our showroom and try on a Tillis Jewelry custom piece today. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to view our designs and much more.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter, like the drywall that somehow isn't. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Call Davis Heating and Cooling at 931-388-2090. Davis Heating and Cooling is your local American Standard dealer and proudly serves the Maury County area. Find Davis Heating and Cooling online and on Facebook or call today, 388-2090.
For 40 years, Beck Dental Care has been the personalized and comfortable option for the health of your smile. The caring staff maintains a high level of safety protocols and attention to detail. Advanced technology provides your choice of sedation and the best of dental implant solutions to restore complete oral health. Open until 7 p.m. 2 nights a week. 931-388-8452. Beck Dental Care in Columbia, 1603 Rosewood Drive.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
26 minutes past the hour. Approaching the bottom of hour number 2 of this 2-hour show on Wednesday. We are still on the
2
down.
hours.
That's right, not hour 3. No 3 hours. You remember? Do you guys remember when we talked about that? Oh, we're gonna add a third hour. And we're only gonna talk about FCS. That was a bad idea.
Fortunately, it didn't come to fruition.
Thank God. I think that was JP's idea this one. I'm kidding.
That explains everything.
No.
More.
I'm not.
If some is good, more is better, right?
Yeah.
No.
No, I subscribe to the KISS method.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Amen.
I love it.
No doubt. Hey, real quick before we get into the Braves, Tom Silverstein reporting that former Cane Ridge lineman Josh Avery has signed a contract to play for the Green Bay Packers. Congrats to him. Russell Venozzi tweeted it, and so I thought.
I'm not familiar with that name. Well, I'm not familiar with Tom Silverstein either, but
Tom Silverstein is just he works for the Journal Sentinel, so he covers the Packers. But 6'3", 318-pound defensive lineman that played at SEMO.
Okay,
undrafted in 20, played part of last year with Seattle, and played with the Alphas of the Spring League.
The Alphas, you probably remember him from the Alphas.
I probably saw him on the roster and said, "Hey, they got a SEMO guy." Wouldn't have known where he went to high school, but Russell Venozzi did. So
good for them. He might be the first Cane Ridge guy to make an NFL roster. That's pretty cool. Eddie Woods does a really good job over there, by the way.
There you go. As we get ready to talk about the Atlanta Braves, I am really curious on your thoughts on the race to 500. The Atlanta Braves, who sit at 53 and 54, are 2.5 games back of the National League East leading New York Mets. 2.5 games under 500. What?
The Mets are coming back to them.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, because they weren't going to get them.
I mean, that's
not for quite a while there. I really feel like, and I mean, when you look at this matchup tonight, you know, you've got Drew Smiley, who, as you keep telling me, has pitched really well here of late. 7-3 with a 4.40 going against Ja Happ. 5-6 with a 6.77. You know, I mean, we've been saying this is the time. Certainly the time to get out of that one loss thing. And
they got to do it today.
The way they took care of business last night was really encouraging, I think. I mean, 5 runs in the first inning and another in the second. I would have liked to have seen them score some more rather than sitting on that 6, but you know.
You got to yes. Agreed, but
and just again, because every time you open that bullpen door, you don't know what's coming out.
That's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
And so, you know, fortunately, you know, they got the 6-1 win last night.
And I think that we need to give Brian Snitker some credit
for
the way that he has put this lineup together after the break, after the trade deadline, has been really solid. He's found a spot for Jorge Soler. And
yeah, Jorge Soler may be the only hitter that looks least likely to be a number 2 hitter than Freddie Freeman.
He's a big boy. You know,
he's not what you expect at the 2 spot.
Apparently, in one of those month-long stats that are, I guess, important. I'm not sure whatever it was. Austin Riley and Freddie Freeman had pretty good Julys. Freddie ranked 13th and Austin 21st in this stat. Soler was 4th for the month of July.
And he's still barely hitting 200 if he's hitting 200.
I think he finally hit 200 last night. Let me see if I can find his batting average after.
I think it was 196 going into last night.
Oh, was it? Well, it was 198 coming into as a Brave, right? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I don't know what his average is, but it's not good.
No.
But he's been.
But it's better.
He's been fantastic since he got here.
It's better, but it still ain't good.
As a Brave, he's hitting 455.
The 6'4", 235-pound Jorge Soler in the 2 spot.
the two best averages on the team as Braves, Jorge Soler
and Austin Riley.
Huascari Noah. Huascari Noah, who's hitting 353 on the year. Oh, man.
Does that count the hit that he got off that dugout bench?
That's a good question. He got an extra hit off that one. Kyle Wright's number 3 with 333 average. Bryce
What's
Wilson.
he, 1 for 3?
Yeah. Bryce Wilson pitched five innings, gave up 2 runs for the Pirates 2 days ago. So, again, Rick Kranitz has got to go. You ain't got to go home, but you cannot stay here.
Cannot stay here. That's the one thing that really needs to happen over this offseason. If not sooner.
The Atlanta Braves have 4 players who've hit 20 home runs.
They could wind up with as many as 7 guys that hit 20 homers this season. Now, not all of them will have been with Atlanta because Soler, I think, had 13 or 14 at Kansas City, and Jock Peterson had about that many with the Cubs.
But going back to my original point, Snitker understanding that we're facing 3 lefties in this series. Ozzie Albies hitting right-handed is dangerous,
lethal.
So then you've got
and to double up on your point, because when they traded for Jock Peterson, I think they had pretty much told him, you're going to bat leadoff and play right field. Until came a little quicker than they anticipated. But
I don't think Ozzie's stuck there, though. I think this is a left-handed type of thing. If you're going to get 3 or 4 lefties in a row, you're going to bat him leadoff. But Jock splits. His average as a leadoff hitter versus not being a leadoff hitter for this season are kind of like when Vokes catching for Fried versus Kevin Smith. I mean, it's night and day, the batting average. So you have to pick your spots. And I think it's important to note that Brian Snitker has done well in picking his spots. Now, it hasn't necessarily shown up on the win-loss column, but our offense has been better. And that's an Alex Anthopoulos, that's a Brian Snitker, that's a well-done offense. Now you still got to deal with your bullpen and and that sort of thing. But as long as Jesse Chavez is coming out of the bullpen, I'm feeling good right now. That guy's lights out, and we throw him in a non-leveraged situation.
Yeah, when that's who you're hanging your bullpen hopes on, I'm not sure that's. I guess ride it while you can.
And yes, ride it while you can. Get as much out of the 38-year-old as. I mean, the Cardinals seem to think you can get stuff out of 38-year-olds.
Hey, let them.
Because we're going to face another one tonight, as you said, Ja Happ. This, I mean, John Lester was pretty upset in the first inning. I don't know if you saw him.
I did not.
He was very angry with the home plate umpire. Felt he was getting squeezed, and
when you're 3-5 with a 5+ ERA, there's probably some calls you don't get.
Yes, and they weren't strikes.
So there you go.
They weren't strikes. So that's
how dare you call that ball a ball?
And basically, home plate umpire, Yachty turned around and the guy was, and the umpire was like, "You need to go get your boy because those were balls." I mean, it's 6 inches off the plate outside, and he's wanting the call. So Yachty finally goes out there and says, "Dude,
those aren't strikes.
Those aren't strikes.
Those aren't strikes.
Calm down.
Throw strikes.
And
those aren't."
And then he did. He only gave up 1 run after that. So there you go.
There you go.
I mean, it was a home run to Freddie, but it was just 1 run. So now that St. Louis is at 500, we've put them at the 500 mark. The Braves could get back to 500 tonight. They've won 7 of those games this year, right? I think they're 7 and.
If they win this one tonight, yeah.
So
7 games they've won with a chance to get to 500, and they've gone with a win tonight. That would be the 7th time.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's right, because they did not get back to 500 against the Brewers.
No, they did not. So they're
6-14 in opportunities to become 500,
and
they're
they're
0-6
0-6 in opportunities to go over.
Correct.
500. Yeah. So
That's tough, man. I mean, this is the time you've got your chance. So if the Braves can get the win tonight, I think I would almost feel comfortable.
And then you finish this series tomorrow night in St. Louis, and then you come home to play 3 against Washington. You're off. You play 3 against Cincinnati. Then you go to Washington, Miami, and Baltimore for 3 each.
And the only team that I'm worried about there is Cincinnati. Funny story. So Ben and Joe were conversing, which first game that they
Time
were...
out.
All right.
Have you noticed how much more jovial Joe Simpson sounds on
Fantastic.
the radio than on TV?
He's so good. I'm a fan of Joe Simpson on radio. I'm a fan of Joe Simpson with
Ben Ingram?
I think Ben Ingram makes him so much better. I think
And maybe that's it.
I think Chip makes everyone worse.
I hated listening to him on TV.
Do you remember when the first time we heard your boy's guy? What's his name?
My boy's guy.
Plaster's guy.
Oh, Adam Duvall?
Nope.
Oh, Frank Coor.
First time.
My boy's guy.
First time we heard Frank Coor, we were like, hey, this guy's good. And then the longer he stays with Chip, the worse he's gotten. And same thing with Paul Bird the other night. Man,
Paul is great.
Birdie's great. Except he's not been in the booth with Chip but once. Put him in there full time. He's going to get worse too.
What's the common denominator?
What's the common denominator here, folks? I'm not saying.
I'm just saying.
Just saying. So anyway, Ben and Joe were having a conversation. First of all, it's the first time that they've been on site all year. They were in St. Louis last night, so that was pretty cool. But they were talking about the Yankees had a 9-0 lead on Baltimore, and Ben says, have you counted those guys out yet? And Joe says, the Orioles? Yeah, I did that when we were in Sarasota. It was the funniest thing. I thought, nice job, Joe Simpson. That was well played, sir.
Joe Simpson off the top rope. Yeah. This day in Braves history, on August 4th, 1922, Ray Powell of the Boston Braves hit an inside-the-park home run in the bottom of the 9th, but the hit and the inning were wiped out because rain made further play impossible. The game reverted back to the end of the 8th inning, resulting in a 3-0 victory for the visiting Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's unfortunate.
Is it?
That's really unfortunate.
That's rough.
Like, man, that's brutal.
What happened to my inside-the-park home run? What home run? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
At least, okay. If nothing else, baseball keeps meticulous records. So even when it doesn't happen,
it happened.
We know it happened.
There we go.
So thank you, baseball, for keeping meticulous records and stats. Ray Powell thanks you. I wonder if he's in the gym.
The family of Ray Powell thanks you,
Maybe
I
Jim.
imagine, on August 4th, 1922. Sounds continue their 7-game series against visiting Toledo tonight at First Horizon Park. First pitch in Game 1 is in about 25 minutes. Sounds 45-33, Toledo 44-33 after yesterday's 3-2 9-inning victory. Weston Wilson with a game-winning RBI base hit in the 8th after Corey Ray went yard for 2 runs in the 3rd inning. So
Weston Wilson, Mr. Clutch. Just call him Clutch. Every time we're talking about Weston Wilson, it's a game-winning RBI or
close
something.
and late, he's there, man. Again, doubleheader tonight, making up for a rainout in May.
I wonder who the home team is in the first game.
I would guess the first game is the May game, so I would guess the Mud Hens are the home game, but that'll be worth keeping an eye on. So
I don't know.
I do know that tonight should be a great night to be out at the ballpark if it follows last night, because last night was a great night to be at football scrimmages.
Yeah, no doubt. It was
very
really,
un-August.
It was really nice outside last night, and I'm going to knock on wood there. But Drew Hutchinson for Toledo in game 1, 7-3 with a 3.82 ERA. That's a pretty solid mark in AAA.
I started to say especially in the Pacific Coast League, but the Pacific Coast League no longer exists, so never mind.
Either way, may see him in Detroit here sooner rather than later. Thomas Jenkins on the bump for Nashville. The 6.32 2026-year-old is 2-5 on the year with a 6.39 ERA. If you don't have your country legend wind-up racer George Jones, probably not going to get one. I just want to know if when you wind it up, if it goes wobbly sideways or if it just goes straight. I don't know. I just want to know. I don't have one. So, does it come with its own lawnmower?
It's got to.
If it doesn't, what are we doing here?
That's what I would want, the lawnmower.
If it doesn't have a lawnmower, then they've really missed out.
No question.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to Wild and Wacky. That's a good way to get to Wild and Wacky right there. Wild and Wacky Wednesday coming up on the other side of the break. It is Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Barn and Joint. Be right back after this.
One-stop shopping. That's why so many people shop Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat of Columbia. As the #1 volume CDJR dealer in Tennessee, we offer the largest selection of new Ram, Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler vehicles. And when you have the largest selection of new, you have the largest selection of used, too. Combine that with state-of-the-art fast, accurate service, and you've got Tennessee's #1 volume dealer. Shop online at Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Columbia.net. Middle Tennessee's Ram Truck and Jeep headquarters. You can count on us. Based on combined retail and fleet sales as reported by Chrysler in the state of Tennessee in 2019.
Hello, I'm Barbara Lincoln with Hollins Pharmacy. You may have heard our previous commercials about compression hosiery that we carry at Hollins Pharmacy. Well, we've recently expanded into a full line of knee braces, back, wrist, ankle, and other support wear. We will gladly help you get just the right fit for these items and, of course, special order items to ensure the proper fit. Come see us at Hollins Pharmacy, 1608 Hatcher Lane, or call us at 931-388-4233. 388-4233.
If you come to Arby's from 2 to 5 p.m., you can get sliders for $1. For another $1, you can get a small drink or fries or a snack shake. And for the low price of another $1, you can round out this afternoon snack with warm cookies. It's really a meal at this point, but call it a snack. That way, you can come back for dinner. Arby's, we have the meat.
Dollar price valid for small fries and drinks, snack shakes, and classic sliders. Available at participating locations for a limited time.
Nice Traeger grill. Thanks, man. Hiller gave it to us for free when I bought my new HVAC unit. We also upgraded to a tankless water heater and got this free Yeti cooler. What a deal.
This month, when you buy select new HVAC systems from Hiller, we'll give you a free Traeger grill. And you'll get a free Yeti cooler when you buy a new tankless water heater. Enjoy great upgrades for your home and some free backyard upgrades for your family. Visit happyhiller.com today.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Serving Murray County for 40 years, the Jewelers Bench has provided the highest quality jewelry at the very best prices. They work hard to make their customers happy, and it's paid off. Their customers keep going back. Quality jewelry, custom vintage and estate pieces, and professional jewelry and watch repairs. We offer jewelry loans up to $4,500, and we will buy your gold. The Jewelers Bench, still here, still the same. 808 Trotwood Avenue, Columbia.
Terrence here at Shepherd Lumberyard, where we value you, the customer. We've been serving Columbia and surrounding areas since 1946. We're located in our new location at 103 Cemetery Avenue. Anything that has to do with building or remodeling, we're here to assist. When you shop local, you help shape the community. We are locally owned, family owned, and veteran owned. And by the way, God is in charge. You can reach us at 931-388-3612, and our website is shepherdlumberyard@yahoo.com.
It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today with the two zaniest guys this side of the Duck River. It's like you joined a circus or something. Here's Chris and Mo.
The background of that should have been like some
kind of circus
To work on that, yeah.
Little circus music.
Work
It's
on
like you
that.
joined a circus or something. That's it. That's exactly what I was thinking. Speaking of the fairs in town, you guys go to the fair? You like the
In
fair?
Murray County?
No, it's just in it's in Williamson County right now.
it's in Williamson
It's
County,
just-
yeah.
There's fairs going on right now, like in the area. I'm pretty sure Cool Springs is set up.
That's not where the fair is.
Well,
I think that's-
okay,
I think that's some
what do you-
rides.
what do you
County
call
Expo,
those?
right?
Yeah,
What do
yeah.
you call those?
Carnival.
Carnival. That's
Carnivals?
what it is. There's some carnivals going on right now, but it's getting that time. Fairs are coming.
Oh yeah,
up.
I think the Williamson County Fair is. It might start this weekend.
When is the Wilson County Fair? That's the one that I'm trying to get.
You know,
to.
I've been meaning to go over there for the demolition derby for years.
I didn't even know they had a demolition derby.
They have a demolition derby.
August 12th to the 21st, so it's coming
at
up.
Wilson County. Look and see if there ain't a demolition derby over there.
It's not a fair unless there's a demolition derby.
Well,
I don't know about all that.
The barrel races are on the 7th. That's before the. I don't. This is the Tennessee State Fair. They've moved the Tennessee State Fair to Wilson County now. By the way, I forgot.
That's right.
I forgot about that. I don't see a demolition derby.
I started typing it in my search bar, and it
Pops up.
Mm-hmm.
Good. You then.
August 21st.
I hadn't gotten that far yet. I'm still on the 15th. They got enough exhibits on here to get you.
So that's the Saturday after.
That's
week
the final
one.
day of the fair. They're just like, all right, fair's over. Let's tear everything up, including the cars.
Apparently, there's one that Friday night for stock full-size model years 1980 and up and pre-run cars. Okay, and then it's the same thing on Saturday the 21st. So
The music over there is fantastic. I love fairs. I go to fairs. I like fairs. Big fan.
Have we done a top 5
Fair
fair
foods.
foods?
We did.
Did we do that?
We did.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's been a long time though.
It was a long time.
It was probably a year ago around this time.
it could very well have been. Well, it wasn't around this time because we didn't come on until Chris's birthday,
Yeah,
but
that's
it was
right.
probably
That's
early
right.
on.
Yeah, my birthday will be. The anniversary of our show every year will happen. So we're just going to have a party for the anniversary of the show.
Perfect.
And it certainly will not be because of my birthday.
But the cake will always say have Chris on it. Just Chris.
just it's going to have my face. Just a picture of my
Yeah.
face.
So there's a demolition derby on August 21st, and I might go.
I'm here for it.
Let's go.
All right.
Buzz.
Wonder if we can get press passes.
Well, considering, Wilson County.
Maybe.
and the future.
Maybe.
Press passes for the demolition derby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
why not?
Well, I mean,
take some video.
If I don't have to pay to get in.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of wild and wacky.
Wild and Wacky Wednesday.
All right. So, in the absence of intern 2 Lawson Smith, I've got a story.
This ought to be good.
Yeah. As it turns out, this is from September of last year, but some kind of way it got legs over the weekend on Twitter. 5 parrots separated at British Zoo after encouraging each other to curse profusely at guests. A British wildlife sanctuary has been forced to separate 5 parrots who wouldn't stop swearing at visitors. Keepers say the birds encouraged each other to keep cursing and had to be moved from the main outdoor aviary. Billy, Eric, Tyson, Jade, and Elsie were removed from view this week. Again, this was in September of last year. the Associated Press reports. They recently joined the Lincolnshire Wildlife Center's colony of 200 African gray parrots in August, were put in quarantine together and quickly overwhelmed the staff with their naughty language. We are quite used to parrots swearing, but we've never had 5 at the same time, the center's executive told AP. Most parrots climb up outside, but for some reason these 5 relish it. According to Nichols, none of the zoo's visitors complained about the parrots, and most found them amusing.
Well, yeah.
When a parrot tells you to off, it amuses people very highly. It's brought a big smile to a really hard year. I'm going to leave that at that, but you can find this on CBSNews.com because it's pretty lengthy and pretty amusing. So,
I did want to mention this. The Tennessee Titans, we talked about Ryan Tannehill, and he said that if players don't get vaccinated, the NFL makes their life miserable. So basically, they just trade all of those players to the Jets.
That would do it. Unless you actually choose to sign there. Looking at you, Corey Davis. Yeah.
Right. Frontier Passenger.
I had that one as well. Go ahead.
Frontier Air Passenger. Have you ever flown Frontier?
I have.
It's
Yep.
like playing for the Jets. It's awful. The seats aren't even padded. They're like they're lunchroom chairs. Like
It's ultra economy.
They're lunchroom chairs that like snap together on the side. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Like one has the hole and one has
Yeah.
So and then they like bubble gum them to the floor. They just take the bubble gum from underneath it, and that's what they use to stick it to the floor. That's flying Frontier. Well,
So some turbulence, the chairs might get a little air.
Just a little bit.
Well, that explains why the accessory that was used in this story is on the plane.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
Allegedly, a passenger on a Frontier flight flew 2 flight attendants in the breasticles, and then
Touched them inappropriately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then he screamed that his parents are worth $2 million before punching a flight attendant. First of all, if your parents are worth $2 million, why are you flying Frontier? That's the real question.
Well done.
Secondly, Frontier flight attendants took duct tape and duct taped him to the chair.
Yep.
They duct taped him to the chair, which was 1,000% the right thing to do, because this guy, he deserved they should have duct taped him to the back of the chair too, not just the seat.
They should have beat him up and then duct taped him to the chair.
And then I wish they'd have put an extra strip across his face, because that's when he went on his tirade.
Mm-hmm.
So 22-year-old Max Berry is in custody. The Frontier flight crew has been suspended pending an investigation, but it's a paid suspension, and that's just typical protocol stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think the union is backing them on this, so they'll be fine.
I certainly hope
They'll
so.
be just fine.
They'll be just fine.
Anyway, I thought that was hilarious.
So did I, because I had it on my screen here.
Oh, man, I hate that I took that away.
You're good.
Have you got anything else?
I do.
Go for it then.
So, I hate that this is about Texas Roadhouse, but one Texas Roadhouse customer does not play when it comes to his steaks. Recently, 22-year-old
Make that too.
Recently, 22-year-old Antonio Chacon decided to celebrate his birthday at the popular chain restaurant in Pueblo, Colorado.
Oh, Antonio Chacon, not Pablo Chacon?
No.
From We're the Millers?
Boo.
Antonio. During his meal, he thought his 6-ounce steak looked a little on the small side, so he decided to do what any of us would do in
Have
this
you seen
predicament. And he pulled out his very own scale.
And he wasn't wrong.
According to Chacon, the weight of the steak came in at just 3.68 ounces. The Colorado native ordered his to-go meal with fries and mashed potatoes, doubling up on the starches.
There you go.
On the potatoes. Just different variety.
Yeah. But when he looked at the dish, he noticed his sirloin looked, quote, really small. The birthday boy then went out to his car and grabbed some weighing scales from his toolbox before returning to find out the
his
steak.
Toolbox. Air quotes. Toolbox.
He's in Colorado, man.
Yeah.
That was a joke on Twitter. before returning to find out the steak's accurate weight as the server's jaw proceeded to hit the floor. After complaining about the false advertising, he posted a picture online to air out his grievances. It now has more than 16,000 reactions, 92,000 shares. It had been my birthday. I ordered the ribs and steak. I got a 6-ounce steak, and when they brought it, it looked really small. I've eaten there before, and I know my steaks. I never really thought about weighing it before. If it's a 6-ounce steak, you'd have thought it'd be 6 ounces no matter what, even when it's cooked.
Well, he's wrong there.
Well,
it literally tells you on the menu, the longer you cook it, the smaller the steak gets.
Okay,
and he
but
probably
still.
cooked it well done. Well, yeah, I mean, it should be around
Nearly
5.5, not 4, and not certainly
And not
3
less than 4, yeah.
not 3.8 or whatever it was. Yeah, definitely.
I never knew steak shrunk. I guess it shrunk a little bit, but it shouldn't shrink that much. Chacon also said the staff kindly remade his meal.
That was nice of him.
Chef even came out to present the new steak to him. The new meal looked way bigger and a lot better the second time around.
I bet it did.
So many Seinfeld references in my
Yes.
head, but one that will stick here. The problem is, he thought he was going to a birthday party. He ended up going to the Festivus for the rest of us.
That's going to do it for this edition of Southern Middle Tennessee
Airing those
Sports
grievances.
today. That's exactly what I thought too. Oh, man. Going to be great. Lee Company Studio back tomorrow with all kinds of great excitement. We've got plenty to talk about. We're going to try and get a brand new Murray County area coach to join us on the airwaves. Which one of those 3? We don't know yet. We'll make that. Well, there's 3 if you count the C-State soccer coach. I mean, there are options. We got options, man.
We got options are good.
Options are good. So come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 4 p.m. Thanks for watching on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, not on LinkedIn. If you're watching on LinkedIn, I don't know what you're watching. You're not watching
Not
us.
watching this.
But we will be back on WKOM 1017 FM 94.5 The Eagle. If you missed any part of today's show, sm-tnsports.com. You can rewatch the video or you can listen to the podcast. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. For Mo Patton and JP Plant, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. Stay cool, Columbia.